Good evening and welcome to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here from the DreamHack Monster Energy Studios. And we're here, of course, for two series in League play. Let's take a look at which teams we've got. Both of our series today are going to be featuring ninjas in pajamas. And as the first team, they will face Na'Vi. Now, all of our three teams tonight, these are the games they really need to win, otherwise they have a chance to not make it to a DreamHack Summer. So very important match for both of these teams. And as a second opponent for Ninjas in Pyjamas, it will be basically unknown who at the moment are actually at the bottom of the list in total with only one win to their name in 4 series. So quite important for them to get the wins in today. And of course with me in the studio it is Owen, Andy and Shane. How are you doing?
Excellent. I'm doing really well. I went to McDonald's and we go there so much they actually started giving us vouchers. It's a pretty good thing.
We go there so much, you actually got free burgers at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say they give vouchers to everybody.
Oh.
But you got free burgers?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They actually gave vouchers to Whip Us when we went before we came here.
Oh. But if they give them to Whip Us, they give them to everyone, really.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel as well.
No, it's a disaster.
They're good vouchers, though. You can get free things.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. Like.
That's usually what they're for.
No, sometimes there's like a discount on things that you have to buy specifically.
Yeah, but it's like you buy one, get one free, or like one is 50% off, or whatever.
But now is it if you spend 55 kroner, then you get something for free.
If you order 6 double cheeseburgers with nothing on them, and then you take off the bread, you get a baldy guy.
Yeah, because he'll run after them.
I feel like we're selling out a bit here.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Yeah. Oh, we are.
We
are. There's no problem with that.
Do you want to have a word in for Burger King?
Because as soon as you start mentioning names, then you've got to technically mention everybody.
Yeah,
well,
that's basically.
No. You don't have to mention everyone. Let's go by per capita, because I've only ever seen like 3 Burger Kings in the entirety of Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, they've only 2 Starbucks
There's
as
not
well.
many of them.
Only 2
But
Starbucks.
McDonald's, they're like every 3 blocks.
There's a Burger King in our super mall.
There's Super Mall.
Super Mall.
It's like super.
No.
Is that the one that we went to the movies, or is that?
Yeah.
How near is that to the house?
10-minute drive. How
Pretty
near?
close.
For us, it's like 10 minutes.
How long did it take you, Andy?
30 minutes by cab.
Did you manage the public transport on the way back? Was it all right?
No, they went for
God,
Oh, you got a
taxi.
taxi in the end?
We had to get taxi, yeah.
Yes. We went to Mad Max. Without spoilers. I thought it was a really good movie. And then I follow a lot of people on Twitter, and there was one like non-good Dota related, and then at some point she said, Mad Max sucked. Unfollowed.
Whoa, unfollowed.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I'm
Don't
that kind of
insult
person.
Mad Max.
It's a bit
Well, you
mean just to say
cannot
something
like it,
sucks.
but you can't say like that it sucked, because it's you know,
It's just your opinion.
it's just your opinion.
Well, you can't
Yeah, but
say
that
it
might be
sucked
your
if that's
opinion.
your
You
opinion.
can say it sucks in my opinion.
Yeah, but I
It might
feel
not be a valuable opinion, but it's still an opinion.
like unfollowed.
It was
pretty
all
harsh.
right.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was
This
pretty
is like noise and like and like drive up, then drive back.
You know what was the best part of the movie?
Spoiler.
I'm not going to spoil,
I just spoiled
but the
whole
music
movie.
was good.
Yeah,
The
it
music was amazing.
No,
actually.
the sound was.
Yes. So if this is like the typical kind of movie that you would see in a cinema because of all the effects and the sounds and the bass and whatever. Unless you've got a home cinema system.
Yeah, we saw it in 3D, and I'm not the biggest fan of 3D. I have very sensitive eyes, and like it just hurts my face to like.
If you get motion sick, would not recommend seeing that movie in 3D.
Yeah.
True.
The 3D was good though. You know, I don't see
Well,
a
the
lot of
3D
films, but
itself was fine, but
Yeah,
it was also,
it
we
was-
were sitting in the 3rd row.
Yes.
So the screen is like
it's not the best angle.
here, and you're just like looking up and you're like, holy crap, this hurts actually.
Subjective.
A little bit.
A little bit. Didn't hurt me. That's for sure. But having a good day then, Andy.
Yes.
When did you wake
Yes.
up, Andy?
I woke up at like 10 a.m.
That's pretty
somewhere
early.
around there.
You're
That's
on
actually
you're
really
on the
early.
morning cycle.
I
now.
was on real person time.
You're trying?
Wasn't
actively?
bad. Well, the thing is, we start on the weekend at like 10 a.m.
Yes.
So if I'm not waking up early now, I would actually become a zombie. So I need to be prepared for that.
I heard
Fair
yesterday you did laundry. You like cleaned.
Oh, it was
things,
horrible.
You had a shave.
It was completely awful.
Are you
I'm so
okay?
disappointed in
I
you.
try
Andy.
to avoid responsibility wherever I can. So waking up in the morning makes me feel more responsible, which in turn makes me not myself. It's horrible.
Cello.
It's interesting.
Real person cello.
I wonder if that works. If I set the alarm for Shane at 10 a.m. in the morning
No,
and I
no,
wake him up and I make sure that he actually wakes up, do you think he'll be more responsible as well?
No, I
Why?
think he'll be cranky.
I'd just turn it off, and you wouldn't be able to set the alarm because I'd wake up when you.
I've tried waking him before. He lived in the house, our old house, for like a couple months. He is not to be woken in the morning.
He is, but he wakes up very easily.
Yes,
Fair
enough.
but I'm not very happy when I wake up.
But after 15 minutes, you're okay.
Yeah, that's true. There's the danger period.
Here's what you do. You wake him up, right? And you have like a cheeseburger in one hand and like a cigarette in the other. And you just like lure him out of bed.
That actually would work
And then you
really
bring him
well.
to like the sliding glass door in the house so he can like eat a cheeseburger and smoke at the same time. And then
Yeah.
he'll probably be fine.
Actually works.
How was your day
Andy
then,
knows.
Owen?
So far today, it's been pretty good. I got up, and then
You were up very early.
I did. I did wake up early this morning. I don't know why either. I think I went to sleep a little bit earlier because obviously yesterday was a pretty quick day.
It was a very quick
We
day.
got to bed nice and early, so that was
Yeah.
good.
You're really weird. Sometimes you stay up like quite late and watch streams, but yesterday you were pretty quiet.
I think there wasn't any good
mean-
streams on last night.
Well-
I was streaming.
You were actually. I watched a little bit of
The
your
flames.
streams, but no, it's not for me, Shay.
He normally watches back his own casts,
Yes.
for you know,
For science.
Oh
for
yeah,
science.
that was
And if you only have 20-minute games, there's not that much to watch.
true.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't even bother watching them back because, I mean, obviously we'd like to say the games were amazing, but they weren't that great yesterday. So even I didn't go back and watch them because I was like,
Well,
they were a little bit stompy.
Don't undersell them too much because for the people that might have missed them, we do have a
got a
recap of yesterday's game. So let's take a look.
It's going to be great.
Yay!
He's safe and sound for the time being, and now the backup from BP comes in. FNG, Overgrowth onto 3. Hansken melting here to the AoE damage of Illidan. Lightstrike Array will catch out the pony, but the heal from Wyvern helping him throughout all that magical damage. Limp gets a Dream Call onto 2. He's going to be able to face you for the time being. He's still alive. Nice call onto 2 here from Jonas and Pan. Finds the dunk onto Illidan, but Illidan, of course, still with the Aegis, ready to come back for round 2. Leaf Seed gets dropped onto the Axe. FNG taking a bit of damage from the Rocket Barrage from Aero. Laguna Blade onto Illidan from Hansken. He gets healed up again. This Wyvern doing absolute work here for the side of Virtus Pro Polar. Jonasson looking desperately for a dunk. He's not going to find it. He goes down. Double stun from Illidan. Finishes them both on as well with a double kill. G's going to find the gyrocopter. 4 heroes dropping to the deck on the side of NIP.
And then he had to buy back, and then Sakshka had to buy back. Sing's gonna get caught out here.
Oh, they've got the Raw. There will be a TP in from Paris, but it doesn't matter. Sing's already dead, and it looks like Paris might pay over his life as well. He gets Dagon tracked up. He goes down. That's 2 heroes down on the side of Burden without buyback. Well, there might be a comeback, Andy.
Radiant's top tower.
I'm
has
waiting for
fallen.
it.
All right, come back Dota. Here we go. Oh, and you can't just flip-flop like that. You gotta commit.
Yeah. There's no comeback, is there, Andy?
No, there's no
There's no coming back.
Radiant's top tower.
And with yesterday's series out of the way, we can take a look at the updated standings as well because we're in our last week. We have to see who's going to DreamHack Summer. We'll know that by the end of Saturday night, but it's already starting to kind of take shape here. Alliance, obviously the only team that has played all their matches so far. Empire, the team has only dropped 1 game so far, so they'll probably be pretty safe there at the top. But the 3 teams that we're going to see today, bottom 3.
Yeah, do we have 16 more games to go in the DreamLeague? Is that a...
I don't know how many are left, but the most
some
In
important
terms of
thing.
series,
in terms of game? Yeah, series.
we have 14 series to go.
Okay,
2 today, 2 tomorrow, 10 over the weekend.
14 to go.
There you go.
14 to go.
So
Yeah.
the magic thing here for any team is to not lose 7 games.
Exactly, yeah.
That's basically the only thing that you need to do. So as long as Empire win 1 more game, they're almost assuredly going to DreamHack
Yes.
because they're right now 7-1.
Yes.
Alliance actually ended 8-6, so they're not completely safe. But if one of the other teams drops to 7 losses, then they're automatically through as well.
Yes. Basically, Unknown already sits on 7 losses, so
They're probably not gonna
unless
make it.
they win every game, and not only that, they have to also be lucky that some other people drop some games too.
Yeah. I guess the best opportunity would be either for Navi or Nip to lose a couple more games because they're realistically the 2 who are closest to that. And
Yeah.
then again, they would have to win against. But they haven't played Empire, have they?
I know basically Unknown has. I can actually look at that.
Oh, they did play Empire.
Basically,
Okay.
Unknown has played Empire already. So did Navi, actually. But Ninja Pyjamas not yet.
Okay.
Ooh, that's actually not great for NIP.
Nope, not at all. And I mean, we saw them yesterday. We already mentioned that yesterday's games were just really short. They suffered. And also, if you're having such a short game, how are you going to try to get better? Like, is it draft? Is that just
Yeah,
practice?
The Nip games were definitely drafts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100%. Those were draft losses. And that's the thing is like, in this patch, a draft loss can be extremely ugly
Yeah.
because you don't get forgiven Like, people used to not necessarily know how to run their drafts that well a couple of years ago, and there were opportunities for mistakes, and the rubber banding mechanic was not even existent back then. So it's a lot different now. If you draft poorly, all the teams that are tier 1 are going to crush you for it, and that's pretty much exactly what we saw. Like, even Vega had a really strong performance, in my opinion. Like, I thought they would actually 2-0 in their series. I did predict that, but I didn't think that they would be quite as convincing as they were. So a lot of teams stepping up their game lately. Of course, TI is coming closer. We have DreamHack Summer, of course, on top of that. So there's a lot of mistakes that you just aren't allowed to make anymore.
Yeah, and with the qualifiers, I think the European qualifiers start on the 29th. That is next week.
29th?
Friday?
Is it?
29th of May.
Yeah, they staggered it so there's 2 qualifiers on.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then 2 qualifiers
and America
on.
and China are first.
Yeah, American, China, then Southeast Asia and Europe.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's not that much time anymore for them to actually improve, and this is actually one of the few times where they have official matches against the teams that are likely to be their main competitors in the qualifiers. So, pretty tricky for these teams, and for me, NIP, well, they're definitely not doing great. If we compare them to Na'Vi, I can't say a lot about Na'Vi because we haven't seen them play for 2 weeks, but they are boot camping right now, which I think kind of speaks for them slightly.
Yeah, if we look at their previous results, they haven't really been doing that well. They only beat basically Unknown on their first page of results.
For Na'Vi, yeah. And that's also in the DreamLeague, by the way.
Yeah.
That's their wins. They're 2 and 4.
And when we saw them against basically Unknown, they actually played pretty solidly, but that was when it was just after the patch. And Na'Vi had the Centaur with the Glimmer Cape and Ags.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a bit of like, it was kind of shock to
And it wasn't a game where basically Unknown did throw quite a little bit because they had a massive advantage.
Yeah, they were
in
winning the game and
Yeah.
they just couldn't finish it basically.
That seems like so long ago.
It
does.
is.
It was.
It's 2 weeks
It was 2
ago.
weeks ago.
God, it's like a lifetime in Dota terms,
Especially when you watch so much Dota, like with the summer, with all the other competitions going on, and the DreamLeague.
Yeah.
There were 3 LANs in the meantime.
Yeah, that's
Because there was the D2CL, the Battlegrounds, and the Summit. So there were 3 LANs since Na'Vi last played. And if you're considering that LANs basically is what shapes the meta, as you call it, it's different Dota, what they play now, compared to then.
3 LANs in 2 weeks. That's actually insane.
It is, yeah. It is quite crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not just for that. I mean, obviously, that doesn't only go for Na'Vi. That goes for basically Unknown as well as for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ninjas in Pyjamas was actually part of at least one of those. Maybe that helps for them a bit,
Yeah,
even though...
D2CL won, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah, D2CL.
but they didn't win a single game there either.
Yeah.
It wasn't great for them.
Even you just said it was great, and then you said it wasn't great.
You said
it was not great.
Oh.
They
She
lost
said
everything.
that they lost
they
every
lost
game.
all.
How
And then I said, how is that great?
I know. I thought
That's fantastic.
I thought you were saying it was good for them to go to the LAN.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That's the
From an
positive way to
experience
look at it.
standpoint,
You
of
lost
course.
every game, but you went to the LAN.
Got a bit of experience.
You had a nice time.
No, it still helps to go to the LAN and see what other teams are playing.
It's a
and
free
play
trip to Germany. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
How
cool
much
place.
impact do you think it has for Na'Vi to not have played a single game in 2 weeks? Single official, obviously they probably scrimmed and shit.
Well, it all depends on how their boot camp's going and how serious they're taking it.
Yeah.
Like, if they go into their boot camp and they all have the same mindset and they're giving it their all and trying to improve for the qualifiers, I think they could show, because they're Na'Vi, they're really good players.
Yeah.
They just have to play as a team, and because it seems like they were lacking. Like a lot of pro players said they weren't really scrimming at all. They just didn't really want to try. But at least if they're going to boot camp, it shows they want to give it their all. So
I think it's going to be a different Na'Vi that we're going to see.
I hope that is, because they were so dominant for so long, and it's just like they just seem washed up or something. Now. They don't seem their old selves at all for so long.
I think the most disappointing thing as well with Na'Vi is they always have they had a lot of changes and stuff,
Yeah.
and we're always kind of looking for something to say. This is it. This is Na'Vi. They're going to prove that
Na'Vi
they're
is
back to
back.
their
Yeah,
but and then they just let us down. We're still waiting for that big point where they go, okay, Na'Vi, they're looking really good, and they've been doing it consistently. Because
Yeah.
we've had the odd game. Obviously, they've won, 2 games of the 1 series so far in league play,
Yes.
which they look really good in. But other than that,
They
it's
looked
not
really
been
good in the
great.
first game. Second game, not as much.
Yes, yeah, but they still managed to scrape it through, as you said. But it's, maybe today, up against NIP, even though arguably that's not going to be the biggest kind of test of their skill because NIP weren't looking too great yesterday. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the match anyway. Obviously, as it always is here at the ASUS ROG, the match is always fantastic. But NIP weren't looking great yesterday. Na'Vi, they haven't been looking great. But hopefully the match will look great. Two negatives make a positive.
That's it. Maths.
You know, maths.
Boom.
We've got
What are
it
you
here.
expecting from Navi today, Andy?
I have no idea. I'm going to say that because they're boot camping for the last 2 weeks, it's going to be better than going to officials. Because the thing is, when you're boot camping, you can actually just watch the games and watch the people that are playing in them. You don't have to be
and
at
discuss
the
it
LAN.
with your team
Yeah, exactly.
to be on the same
So-
page for stuff.
Yeah. So I think that they're not going to be really far behind in terms of like what people are picking and banning. It's just going to be what do we think our strength is. We've practiced, however many times in scrims, and they probably got to play quite a few games because a lot of these teams don't really have a whole lot of scrim partners right now because everyone's traveling around.
Yeah.
But if Navi have just been sitting there, it was like, okay, well, we can scrim all the European teams more or less, or CIS teams as well. So they probably have gotten a ton of practice in. So I'm thinking they're gonna, if anything, they're gonna be doing well today. That's what I expect.
Do you think we'll see a similar style as we saw from like Vega yesterday, or like VP, like really aggressive Dota?
I think aggression is very good in this patch in general.
Yeah.
Just, either early push strategy or the capability of fighting. Like Beastmaster kind of is the best of both worlds in that case. So I still kind of favor him highly. But the Chen change is interesting as well. It kind of makes me think that he is a better lane dominator than he was just after having watched yesterday
that
with the
one
Harpy.
The Harpy 700 health. Okay.
That thing literally just won the lane for his team.
Yeah.
And it was one creep. So I don't know. I still think early game and a lot of fighting and aggression and pushing is still going to be what we're
when
gonna be
they
seeing.
played against basically unknown, Funny played Bounty Hunter, I believe,
Believe so.
Yeah, it is.
and they destroyed it.
That's
Like
crazy.
they absolutely destroyed. And
We saw Bounty Hunter yesterday.
exactly, and that was even like a 5th support Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
So if we see Funnick on the offline getting maybe a bit more and a bit more farm, like he could destroy the game with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bounty is going to be like second phase ban material, though, a lot of the time. Not first, but definitely second.
Yeah,
Especially
for-
when people pick the jungler. If you pick a Chen
Yeah.
or Enigma, that kind of stuff, Bounty can destroy.
Yeah, I think you almost certainly got to ban the bounty against
Exactly.
certain teams.
If you're,
because you
if
know
you're
they're
planning
gonna
on
want it.
picking Enchantress.
Yeah, if you're picking a jungler, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think actually this patch, I mean, if you look at Navi in the past, they used to be known for their aggression. I think this patch should, in theory, fit them.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like players like Havos and Dendi, they don't want to.
They want to farm.
Yeah,
just
they
let
want
it
to.
go.
They want to play.
Yeah.
It's kind of like G yesterday when he got Bristleback, and FNG came on for the winners interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just CIS Dota, nothing special, just literally running at the enemy team until they lose." Like that's the kind of strategy that Navi I think excels at, and of course they always seem to play better on LAN. Those are like the two things that Navi have been known for since day one. But yeah, I think this does actually favor them quite a bit, and it's also an Empire patch as well for the same reasons.
Yeah, they just seem to be a bit more coordinated than Navi at this point. But perhaps, who knows, maybe we'll see a new Navi today. Also, the other team that we're of course going to see is Basically Unknown. Basically Unknown for me is a bit of a wild card. They haven't been doing great in the DreamLeague. They've only got one win against Alliance. Actually, I believe they lost against. I believe Empire. I wrote it down somewhere. Or they lost against Alliance. They've got one win against Virtus Pro actually. But most importantly, I think for Basically Unknown, they did not make it through to the open qualifiers of TA5, which is a pretty big mental blow.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think they can, if they get the draft they want, I think they can actually play really, really well. They have good players, and when they get what they want, they can play really, really well around it. But with a lot of these drafts, it seems like the opponents know exactly how to play against them, and it seems quite difficult. So maybe if Navi if the enemy underestimate them, it could happen. Like
Yeah, maybe. I think that they have the possibility of taking a game off of a tier 1 team. And even though it's very unlikely that they'll end up going through to DreamHack Summer, it's going to be about maybe they can stop other teams from getting through as well, getting to 7 losses. And there's still a couple of teams with like 3 or 4 losses right now. And like you said, there's still 14 series left to be played.
Yeah.
So there's, for them, they've played 8 games, so they have 6 more, which means they could potentially go 7-7. So if they do, they've played against a lot of hard teams already.
They did, yeah. Virtus Pro, Alliance, Empire, out
Yeah.
of the way.
Yeah.
And Navi.
They've essentially become the team that you don't want to drop a game to.
Yes.
Like you want to 2-0 them because that way, if you have to play against Empire still, or you have to play against like Navi or Alliance, or actually Alliance played other games, never mind. But yeah, you don't want to drop a game to them because it could mean that you would be in the bottom 2.
Yeah, basically that. Just gives a lot of extra pressure to Ninjas in Pyjamas. I mean, 4 games at the same time. We actually saw that for Alliance last week. They had a day where they had 2 series at the same day, and they didn't have a good day. It wasn't a good Alliance day, and
Yeah,
they lost
off-
3 of their 4 games.
They started off really badly and then just kind of kept getting worse nearly. It seems like, hopefully, I don't want that to happen to NiP today. Because each game, they should be able to break it up as a professional player. Break up each game and say, okay, that game's done. Let's analyze it for a second and then just kind of move on. But maybe with like they're a pretty experienced team though, Nip. Like they have been playing for a while now.
And what's the reason why they're losing if they're so experienced, Shane?
Maybe
Their
the
drafts.
drafts and adapting to the patch doesn't seem.
Their drafts yesterday, I would actually put like 80% of the reason on their losses. Like that's how big of a deal. Like if you talk to any pro player, like there's even been a couple of vlogs about this, like how important the draft is nowadays. It's like if you get out drafted, you are so far behind, even if you play better than your opponent. You know, there's just no forgiveness for a bad draft. That's just how the game is played right now.
So if you're like this patch, we have a lot of short games going on. I mean, it's not just yesterday for us. It was at the Summit, same story. What's the reason? Is it that people just get outdrafted more easily? Is it that the patch maybe doesn't allow for comebacks as much? Why are the games so short? Is it mostly the drafts in this
Well,
case?
I think this particular patch, like 6.84, they obviously decreased a lot of the rubber banding. They made the earlier kills less valuable, but they scale a tiny bit better. So what happens is the teams who were playing at 6.83 were very hesitant to try to go high ground because the rubber banding was so severe that you could buy back into the game and get like 10,000 plus gold from a team fight and experience. And then all of a sudden your late game team has come to fruition and the enemy team can't ever crack your base. Now that's not the case. If you buy back, it's a heavy investment to be able to defend the base in the first first place. And then if you actually have bad lanes on top of that, and the enemy team just get all 6 out of 2 towers and an Aegis, they don't have a reason to not push you. Because worst case scenario is they fail the high ground push, they might kill like a tier 3, they force you to buy back on a few heroes. That's still a very large economical blow.
Yeah.
And they know how to exploit your team's weaknesses because they realize they have outdrafted you. Like the feeling of a player being in a game where you are outdrafted, you feel like you cannot do anything. And any Dota player understands that. It's like you're playing some kind of support hero and you're like, oh, I can't go here, can't gank this guy, can't do this. There's so many things in your mind where you're just like, I can't. And that feeling is awful. So they know it. And then they just push their advantage, and eventually you just lose.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday when Nip played, and they all bought back and defended the racks. And they were like 5k negative in net worth after the fight. Like, it's like, well, we just, all the opponent has to do is just wait 5 more minutes and then just push. Like, it's...
For today's games, what are you expecting? It's time to let you go to your casting desk.
I'm going to say first series is Na'Vi Nip.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's going to be 1-1.
Okay.
And then second should be Nip 2-0.
Nip, basically unknown, 2-0
Yes.
for Nip. Owen, agree? Disagree? Different?
I think the first series will be 2-0 to Na'Vi.
Okay.
I think they'll wipe the floor with Nip, and I think the second series will be Nip wiping the floor with basically unknown 2-0 to them as well.
Nice optimistic you are.
So a lot of people getting stomped today. That's what I'm anticipating. I don't
He's just not
think
over
they'll be-
yesterday.
Yeah, it's hit me hard, and I'm very skeptical about ever seeing an
okay,
even
Owen.
game of
It's
Dota
okay,
ever
Owen.
again.
Okay,
They're all
well-
going to be stomped.
Well,
It's
it's
like a
time
nightmare.
There won't be a
to...
single game that goes over 30 minutes today. I'm going to say that.
I said yesterday there was 1 over 35 and boom, it went to 40. I should say that again more often. But it's time to let you go to the casting desk, and it is time for us to welcome our weekly guest. Yeah, welcome back. And of course, welcome back also, Heyoka.
Hello.
What have you been doing today?
Well, I wrote a bunch of emails, and then
Useful.
I walked around Stockholm, and then I
pretty cool
napped.
place.
And
Oh,
then,
nap. What time did you wake up if you napped?
well, I woke up at probably like 4 a.m.
Oh,
5
jet
a.m.
lag.
Oh, God.
Might have
The
been like
jet
5.
lag.
I don't know. I just sleep like 5-hour periods for some reason. You know how like at hotels sometimes the air gets really stuffy and like
Yeah.
recycled?
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing that and like drove my sinuses
I want to
nuts.
say I like your top. I actually didn't notice it, but it's beautifully green. And on the
Thank you.
it doesn't look as green on the camera. Looks
good.
It looks good.
It's a good combination with the shirt below it as well. I actually just noticed that.
That
I'm
is
wearing
the
my Havos
team
shirt.
of host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a good color. That. Yeah.
I'm a snappy
Dad.
dresser.
Yeah, you are.
I bring something new to DreamLeague, I think.
Whoa.
Well, I don't know. The shirt that Shane wears is right now not very friendly to the camera.
No, it destroys it.
Yeah.
A little confusing, yeah. Not
It's
great
actually
for,
just one color.
not great for encoding.
No.
No, it's not one color even on camera. It's not. But I mean, today we have 3 teams. What are your expectations for today? What are you looking forward to seeing, or what do you don't
Well,
want to see?
I'm looking forward to seeing Na'Vi play because I haven't seen Na'Vi in 2 weeks at all. And then even before that, I feel like I haven't seen very many impressive games from them for probably 2+ months. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to see how they do now that they've been boot camping a little and they've maybe hopefully done some actual practice. I feel like Na'Vi is one of those teams where they they got by for so long without practicing,
Yeah.
and they were really successful with it. But now they're like the team composition they have, the players they have can't really get away with that.
Yeah, it seemed like they were so dominant. They were just like, oh, we don't even need to practice.
Right,
and we
that,
still
was,
win.
that was like even Puppy and Kuroki now say they still don't really practice, but they've won 2 lands, so clearly it works for them. But I don't think that works for most teams or people.
Oh, Na'Vi has to relearn. Well, they are boot camping right now, so I
Yeah.
mean, they did. Well, actually, Na'Vi and Kuroki, when they were still Na'Vi, they did also boot camp. They just didn't practice that much while at the boot camp.
It's probably not great.
Well, but like Annie just said, if you're already with your team and you're watching Dota with a team that's already so good, because then you can at least be on the same page in terms of thoughts. If you discuss what happened during the games while the game is going on, then you don't have to like go back and analyze it. Then you know what your teammates are thinking, what the thought process is.
Even just like, it might sound weird, but like just going out for dinner with your team and just being more social with them.
Right, especially because like the first 5 or like maybe like 5 or 6 minutes are super important right now, and so as long as they're in sync in terms of just rotations and like chaining their spells together and stuff, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I hope Na'Vi is doing well. I think they need it, even if it was just for morale boost. But at the same time, NiP kind of needs it too. Maybe even a little bit more, because I don't think they are boot camping yet.
These would be actually exciting games today.
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, this is very important for these teams, for all the 3 teams. Even basically unknown, they're at the bottom now, but I mean, there's a chance somewhere, right?
Yeah, they can still win. They can still
Cinderella
get through
story.
if they win all
Yeah.
their games, I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who do you think is going to make it through? If you were to choose one team out of the 3 that's going to make it to the top 6, then
I think probably Na'Vi. It's hard to say though, just because I don't have a lot of information to go off of. I feel like NiP does pretty good too. I think basically Unknown probably won't. I guess not only because of their score, but the one game they won was on the backs of Drow Visage, which is either harder or not possible now.
I know. I believe in NiP as well. Like, I've seen them play good in the past, and I know they're individually good players. And I just think if they sort out their draft a bit more and maybe try and adapt more to the patch, like maybe just completely start again. Just say, right, destroy that notebook of drafts we have. That was a disaster, and just let's start again. Maybe like analyze the games they've watched from the summit, that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
but I kind of have to. I mean, if you just lose 2 games like they did yesterday, and you know that it was the draft, I mean, I'm going to assume that as players you kind of know, like, okay, this draft was maybe not quite successful. How do you deal with that? It's not like you can't really practice drafting that much in scrims, because you can't give too much away to your opponents.
If you just look at drafts of the enemy instead of looking at your own drafts,
Yeah.
that could work too.
But it has to also work for yourself. So I'm really curious, like, it doesn't go, like, you can't change your drafting pattern and actually expect it to be fixed the next day, right? Or can you?
I don't know. If the players are comfortable on the heroes, you give them.
Yeah.
And they've practiced them enough, I think you can.
I guess we're going to find out. We're not going to find out yet, though. We have still got a few minutes before the game actually starts. That gives us some time to give Shane a box.
This is the best part of the cast.
Yeah, this is my favorite part of the show. I always wanted to be a hand model.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations, Shane.
Look at that.
A dream
You
come
can't
true.
make faces with that. Hand models don't
Okay,
have...
hold on. Ooh.
Okay, so what he is showing is a router that you can win if you go to facebook.com/ROG Nordic.
So yesterday, when I said I wasn't sure if it was powerful, I got like a few tweets, and apparently it's the fastest gaming modem you can have.
Whoa. Okay.
So it's pretty good.
So you're going to win it. Attempt
Yeah.
to.
Oh, I have to unbox it.
Yeah, so you can win it by going to facebook.com/RG Nordic, and there you can fill in your MVP player of... I did it again. Damn it. Your MVP
Most valuable player.
ATM machine.
Your MVP of this week for until Thursday night. So that's yesterday's series, today's series, and tomorrow's series. And also, of course, have a motivation with that as well. Shane, what are you doing?
I'm putting the aerials on it.
Okay.
It has 4.
Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah, I've never had one that has more than 2.
Do you think it's 1 for each thing?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be
You
pretty
can
good.
just put them in different directions so you send them out everywhere. The connection.
Does it?
That's how it protects you from the alien beams.
Oh, okay. So I have
Yeah.
to put this on my head.
Yeah,
like.
it's them and the MLB satellites. They're the other ones that are trying to take
Shiva
your
uses
information.
tinfoil.
Yeah.
Whenever she gets
This is better, though, because you don't have to wear it all the time.
Yeah,
It's
true.
It just protects your apartment.
in an area of effect.
Yeah. It's like a chronosphere, but for evil things coming
Evil
towards
aliens.
you. And it also doesn't
what
stop
about
time.
nice aliens? Does it let them in?
Probably not. It's probably just a sacrifice you have to make.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, though. I'm not a modem expert. I think we went over that yesterday.
It's a router.
Router expert, sorry. Router expert. I'm in
Router,
Europe now.
router.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you can win that. So check that out. Tomorrow, the winner will be announced on ASUS, but the deciding person who's going to decide which player is actually the MVP is going to be Aoka.
Do we know who won the last ones? Do we have like pick? Can they take pick?
No.
Okay, no.
If you won one of the hardware that we gave away earlier in competitions, send us a tweet with a picture.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, one of the things I want to actually mention, one thing that hasn't been mentioned, and I feel like we have to, the Face It Pro League ended, and there was like a lot of money at stake.
Yeah, it was like, what was it, 10,000 total prize pool?
10,000 euros total prize pool.
Yeah, it was quite
And
good.
I think the number one won like 5,000 euros, and it was Sexy Bambo.
Yeah, it was indeed.
And the second season is actually starting. So you can go to faceit.com and check that out. Select your game, which is obviously going to be Dota 2. CSGO is the other option.
Do they do the same thing in CSGO, do you know?
They are a bit more, yeah, they do the same thing as CSGO, and they have like more leagues and stuff, and they have, they actually have their own casters and their own cups and their own
cool
things going on. But for now, Dota is just the online league. Also the ones that, of course, hosted the international qualifier.
Which went surprising, like I was actually worried about that.
Yeah, I was really surprised how smoothly that
It
went.
was ridiculous.
It was
Like,
actually really important.
okay.
I thought it was kind of crappy for them that no one gave them props for that afterwards, because that's impossibly hard to do stuff like that.
You're
People
basically
complain at the
DDoSing your
moment that something goes wrong. People complain.
Yeah.
And I actually saw some people that have had issues, and instantly, like on the new page of Reddit, every post that had something to do with Faceit, someone on Faceit was in there saying, "Hey, what's your problem? What's your ID?"
PM me.
Yeah,
PM me.
PM
So
me. We're
good.
gonna
was
fix it.
ridiculous.
That's really hard to do with that
we were
tournament,
like
man.
1,000, like what was it, 1,024 teams?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like your opponent had like 980 teams or
Yeah,
something.
and-
It's crazy.
And there's, I mean, it's not just one qualifier. There's 4 in the same weekend. It's really impressive to do. So props to Faceit for that, and congratulations to the teams there also.
Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
We'll get you
got
next year.
second. Yeah, we got second. It's fine. So we're gonna have Navi versus Nip. What are we thinking in terms of scores?
I honestly want Navi to do well, so I'm going to say Navi 2-0 against
Okay.
Ninjas Pyjamas. We saw Ninjas yesterday.
Yeah, shaky.
They're a bit shaky, yeah. They didn't look too great, and I really hope the bootcamp is working for Navi. So we haven't seen anything, though. I'm basing this off just my hopes, basically, and
Hopes
dreams.
and dreams.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm doing. And I also want basically Unknown to take a game against...
You can save that prediction for later.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
What do you
I
think
don't
for
like hedging my bets too much, but I'm going to do that and say that's 1-1.
This
Navi,
one?
Nip. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of would agree with you because I kind of don't know, basically.
Yeah.
That's
You know a little bit now.
I know a little bit now, but I'm not going to reveal anything because that's up to the casters. It is time for the first game of Navi versus Ninjas in Pyjamas. Take it away, Odie Pixel and Draskell.